And Yasmin's mother said she couldn't remember, but she had already given evidence. So we have some important new information about Dig Dat's trial. Chris Summers released his Substack today as promised on Friday. I paid to subscribe to view this. Big ups to Chris Summers because he reveals a lot in this Substack, a hell of a lot. We now know who Dig Dat's girlfriend was. We now know that it's very likely the Leah Mai rumor was false. And we know that Bouncer, as much as he might think that he helped Dig Dat, in the Substack that I've just read, it seems like Bouncer did the exact opposite. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Let's get straight into this one. So Leah Mai wasn't mentioned in this trial at all. Her name did not come up over the course of this trial. And I recommend you guys to go and read the entire Substack. That's why we're not going to read everything. I'm just going to go over some key details. If you guys want all of the details, I urge you to go and subscribe to Chris Summers' Substack. I'm going to link it in the description. And he said the jury heard no mention of the stolen gold chain or Leah Mai. And the reason we can't 100% say that Leah Mai had nothing to do with it is because the prosecution didn't need to prove motive. They just needed to prove that Dig Dat was in the car from which shots were fired at Striker CGM. And Chris Summers said that this isn't uncommon at all. He said that a lot of the time prosecutors will just completely ignore the motive when it comes to attempted murder because they don't need to find that. And you guys do know that at the age of 13, Dig Dat was convicted of attempted murder after he stabbed them twice. But Judge Sarah Monroe in this case deemed it inadmissible. So the jury was not allowed to consider the fact that Dig Dat did what he did at the age of 13. And the real concern that Kate Becks, the prosecution, had, which she argued to the judge, if Dig Dat were to get on the stand, we now know that he did not get on the stand. He didn't say anything. But they were worried that if he did, and he gets on there trying to paint out that, like, you know, trying to make the jury feel like he's not somebody who would ever have done this, then how would the prosecution meant to argue back if they're not allowed to bring back his conviction at 13 years old? That's what they were concerned about. And Judge Monroe actually interrupted her and said she didn't think the two cases were similar enough. But the prosecution continued and they said it would be valid to prove his intent. And they even wanted to use his social media presence, you know, mentions of it on his social media. So they wanted to use his music as well. They wanted to use all of these other things as well. But the Judge Monroe, she refused to allow it. She said, not in my court, no chance, nope. Now you guys have probably seen Bouncer's video on the Dig Dat situation. I think we all have. And Bouncer was saying that him and Striker's interview that they did was the only leg that they kind of had to stand on. That's what Bouncer was making it seem like. But it seems like it actually had the opposite effect. Because it seems like the prosecution used this to show the jury, like, look what this guy's done to him. Look at the effects of it, you know? Because they showed videos of Bouncer saying, yo, he's turned a new leaf, having him urging the youth to turn a new leaf, get closer to God. And Striker was a gang member, a serious gang member, bro. So the prosecution are painting it to the jury like, bruv, look what he's done to this guy. This guy was a serious gang member, and now look how he's talking because of what this guy did. That's how they painted it. They flipped it. Yo, if you man could give this video a like, it'd be very much appreciated. Costs nothing, takes no time, helps boost me up in the algorithm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. W's in the chat. And even though Striker was saying he doesn't know who did it, the prosecution actually argued that if you are shot 6 times, including in the head, your recollection of the event is going to be blurred and prone to inaccurate memories. And this was all said when the prosecution was trying to allow the judge to let the prosecution admit these videos, which the judge let them do. And the jury saw these videos. And that is the picture that the prosecution successfully painted to the jury. So you could argue that that interview Bouncer and Striker did actually had the opposite effect that they thought it would. Now we know the car that was used was a black Audi A4. Well, they said it was stolen from Sussex on the 8th of November 2023 when it was discovered it had been fitted with a pair of false number plates on top of another set of false plates on top of the real plates. And they found the car on Allington Road in West Kilburn. And with this DNA, forensic scientist Craig Davies, let's look up his credentials. I don't know if we've got the right Craig Davis, but I think it's this guy. Eurofins Forensic Services. Yes, got to be this guy. This is the guy who was in court. And Craig Davis spoke about the DNA that was found in the car. And he said that it is 37 million times more likely that Dig Dat and 3 other people were in the car than 4 random people were in the car, according to the DNA evidence. But he's basically saying Dig Dat was in that car, bro. And if we go here and look at Wesson, they also said that Wesson's DNA was found in the car. This guy, they said his DNA was found in the car. And they're saying they recovered Snapchat and Instagram conversations and came to the conclusion that these guys are very close. And now it does say that this guy was in Dubai at the time. They're saying that Instagram posts corroborate that story. And I'm confused. I don't know why they just don't check, you know, what the border's saying. I'm sure at the border they can check if he was in the country at the time, you know what I mean? But we don't know if he's gonna come back to the country after the sentencing or not. I don't know. This is all in Chris Summers' Substack as well, all of this. But guys, here's where it gets kind of crazy, all right? Now, I couldn't confirm that this was Dig Dat's girlfriend at the time. I put 2 and 2 together, I've done my checks, and this is the girl that they're talking about in this case. And we're gonna explain why she's come up in this. And now they used ULEZ cameras and ANPR as well. Like, that's mad how they're using ULEZ cameras as well, which makes sense because it tracks your number plate. And they use cell site mobile phone evidence. So Dig Dat was doing all of this with his phone, you know? And they linked him to the BMW, a BMW that he had borrowed from a friend. And it says on Sunday the 19th of November, he set out in the BMW from Shoreditch. By 10:30 p.m. near Old Street, he had a flat tire and called out a tire company to fix it. Carried on driving and was in Ladbroke Grove by 1 a.m. And the jury was shown CCTV footage of a man walking from the road, her mother's house, onto another road where the stolen Audi A4 had been left the day before. And the prosecutor said this man cannot be identified from this CCTV, but whoever he is, the prosecution case is that he was assisting with arrangements for the drive-by shooting. He goes to collect the car used in the shooting. And they say even though it's only Dig Dat in this trial, they know that there were at least 2 other people in the car at the time of the shooting at 1:54 a.m. because one person was driving and the 6 shots were fired through the open window on the rear passenger side of the car. But because they started off on the same road that his girlfriend was living on, or his girlfriend's mother's house, it'd be fair to assume that that person was Dig Dat, you know? It'd be fair to assume that. But there's so many, but the case is done now. But, you know, if it's someone else, you don't know. But they said that person assisted in this whole thing. So if they knew who that person was, they would charge that person. But they're saying at around 2:15 after the shooting, Dig Dat drove back to Deptford and drove back from Deptford to his girlfriend's house, or to his then girlfriend's house. His girlfriend's house in Barnet. And he arrived there at 4:58 a.m. I mean, coming from southeast London to northwest London, that's literally probably the furthest journey you can do while staying in London. If you were doing that during the day and not during the night, that's at least 2 hours if you're doing that at rush hour. Bare minimum, longer than that even. Did he drop someone off in Deptford before he drove to his girlfriend's home in Barnet? Nobody knows. Meaning they can't prove it. They're saying Dig Dat didn't just give no evidence. In all of his police interviews, he just said no comment. Now, I hope I'm interpreting this correctly, but I'm seeing it right in front of me. Make sure you go and buy Chris Summers' subscription if you want to see this for yourself. But it says when she, and that is Yasmin's mother, gave evidence at the trial, she was asked by Miss Crimmins, that is Rhiannon Sarah Crimmins, that is Dig Dat's lawyer, that was Dig Dat's lawyer in the trial. So I'm guessing obviously the defense gets their chance to question a witness if a witness has given evidence. And she asked Yasmin's mother whether her daughter's boyfriend Dig Dat might have turned up at 1:30 a.m. on that night in November 2023 to collect a large gold chain, believed to be the same one he wears on many of his Instagram posts and in the video for Pink Notes. It was probably that chain, one of those Cuban link chains, all right. After leaving it on the sofa while hanging out with Yasmin. And Yasmin's mother said she couldn't remember, but she had already given evidence. So remember, guys, we need to keep it real here, you know, because I don't want people going, bun this girl, you see this girl, bro, this is the girl's mother, all right? Sorry, let me rephrase. It is the woman's mother. We're all grown here, all right? So of course she's gonna do what she can to get her daughter as far away from this case as possible. It makes sense. I would hope that all of you guys watching's mother would do the exact same thing for you. And Yasmin's mother saying she couldn't remember, that obviously, you know, brings doubt, can make the jury have doubts about it. So Kate Becks came straight back in and said it is clear from the analysis of his mobile phone that his girlfriend's mother's home was not normally one of the areas that Mr. Takosi Dig Dat spent most of the time. Cell sites serving the postcodes, and I'm not going to say what area because this is her mother's yard, innit, are not in the top 10 most used cell sites during the 6 months from the 27th of June 2023 to the 4th of December 2023. You may think that it is to be expected, as most young couples wanting to spend time together are unlikely to choose to do so in the presence of her own mother when she had her own flat, she added. So this is crazy, guys. Pretty much Dig Dat's girlfriend's mother helped the courts convict Dig Dat of attempted murder. This is mad, bro. Now, the trial's over. It's very fishy, but the same road where they captured video of the person who was involved in the shooting is the road that his girlfriend, I don't know, bruv, innit? His girlfriend's mother lives on. But anyway, guys, that is all I'm going to say. There's a lot more information in Chris Summers' Substack. I recommend you guys go and check it out. That's even more confirmation that the Leah Mai rumor's false. If she was his girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like, she wouldn't be Like, he wouldn't be getting lined up by Liam. You know, just the whole narrative just felt fake as hell, you know? But I don't know, because it wasn't brought up in court either. It wasn't even questioned in court. Like, can you just imagine? Yeah, we don't know if she's still his girlfriend. Probably not. I mean, but yeah, she's definitely not his girlfriend, bro. I mean, come on. Can you just imagine, like, you know, having to sit there? You know, I mean, this is a lot, man. And it even says when the guilty verdict was read, Dig That remained completely silent. It's like deep down he'd already accepted that he's going to be found guilty of this. But anyway, we still don't know when sentencing is. When he is sentenced, we're going to make a video covering that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, we be posting every day, or we be doing a live stream every day. You're going to get some form of content from me every single day. See you tomorrow.